small business numbers, you say. If small business comes back, these software stocks stand benefit. Well, what's a small business? We're talking about Facebook's level small, Chase Bank level small, we're talking about Delta Airport level small, Peloton, P90X. What kind of macro?
Jeff, good morning. You have said a similar thing. You just need to know where to look for this value. And we're seeing the NASDAQ up nearly 1.8% today. You pointed out that some of the names you talked about a few weeks ago when you were on the show have already bounced. I guess it leads to the question, have we already seen a bottom? Where's there still opportunity?
Great question, Deirdre. As you mentioned, a couple weeks ago, we were sort of at the depths of panic around software and cloud. And since then, we've seen Microsoft, we've seen Qualtrics, a bunch of great earnings come out. Cloud is strong, and no reason to be shy about hopping in at some of these levels. I'm not a market timer. I can't call the bottom, but it sure feels like we saw a lot of names get very cheap, at least by historical standards. And particularly when you look at the growth rates going forward, one of the things I'm bullish on is a lot of the recent IPOs have just incredible growth rates of north of 30, 40, 50, 60%. Those growth rates have been accelerating, even for companies like Microsoft and Amazon, to accelerate growth in the cloud. So we're bullish, and as long as you've got a 3 to 5 year outlook, no reason not to be scooping up shares of names
to the
like.
index of hitting the numbers correctly.
Jeff, you pointed out on Twitter
that
Asana's founder, Dustin Moskovich, has been buying shares of his company. You called it impressive. You and I have talked offline about founder insider sales. How do you think that investors should look at this? You have, I'll give two examples on the other side, a Peloton and a Palantir, where you have seen insiders sell a whole lot of shares. Does it matter? Should it matter to investors?
Anti-square law, depending on which way.
Well, Dustin's a little bit of a unique case, right? He's worth, I believe, over $20 billion, given he was one of the original co-founders of Facebook. But I think it's got to be a strong signal for employees. When your founder and CEO is doubling down, even at some of the higher levels, and then purchasing more,
you'd still have to factor in today, kid, what it takes to take on Microsoft. One, the monster,
and we've seen insiders at other companies in the last few months. I noted recently one of the directors at Smartsheet was buying shares. So it wouldn't shock me if we come out of this January, February time period and we find out that a lot of hedge funds are scooping up shares, as well as insiders who are bullish on the long-term prospects for these companies. Obviously, we saw Bill Ackman jump in big with Netflix last week, and who knows, maybe that'll be a signal that others
inside their
were following
cabinet
as well.
to make sure this thing is moving in the right direction for time over time. When you specify that point out,
can you envision a longer-term scenario where business is great, but valuations continue to get compressed by quantitative tightening, a process that's not going to ostensibly end this year or next year or the year after that?
The problem was I've hit one for some Medicare numbers,
great
but
point,
you
Carl.
were Moderna, and it's not the
if
COBRA
I
play
told you
for the
a few years ago
capitalist
we were going to come out
10th
of a quarter with
Amendment to
record
the
low
First
unemployment,
Amendment about why we have the
and over
Second
6%
Amendment
GDP growth, and we were
third,
coming
fourth,
out of a
fifth.
pandemic, I think you'd think that was a pretty bullish signal for equities.
King George,
However, obviously we've got rising interest rates and inflation.
doing?
Inflation's a big concern. I was at a car dealership this weekend. They were marking up cars $15,000, $20,000, which is just incredible to me. So hopefully we can solve for inflation, and then otherwise I believe we've got a very strong economy ahead of us. And let's not forget small business, which is the lifeblood of America. 60% of Americans work for a small business. Hopefully small business comes roaring back out of this pandemic. And software and technology companies that sell to small business could benefit in a big way. Companies like Square and Toast and Shopify and others.
Acts into spooky distant stuff.